So a lot of people complain about how dating sucks, but most of those people complain about it, you're actually contributing to it. And why do I say that? Is because I tend to notice that a lot of people will move on from a situation, whether you're the one that's blocking, being blocked, or whatever. All those have an action and reaction to it, which leads to chain of events. And one of those chain of events is in the midst of talking to a person, you're connecting with a person. It don't take long to connect. There's some form of connection, whether it just be via attraction, and that's about physical or about verbal as well as spiritual. So anytime you start doing that, you'll connect with that person. So once you connect with that person, most people have a tendency of not wanting to stay put. They're trying to now fill that void of the connection because your spirit is calling out to the connection that it made to the other person's spirit. So now you're looking to connect with someone else because that draw is in you and it's steady pulling, causing you to have restless and sleepless nights or mood swings, anxiety, or whatever else. It's actually transpiring on the inside. So, what you all fail to realize is that this is why your relationships are actually sucking to a degree because it's not about actually what you all like to say heal. It's the connection that you establish is seeking to be connected again, and it wants to draw from the power source that you felt the power from. So that's not a healing process. That's just an re-establishing type of connection. So yeah, that's why you all keep going back into the so-called dating pool, or, or trying to find a new hookup because you're trying to reestablish the power that you got from whatever source it came from. So if you can match the source, you're fine. Which is why a lot of you pick the same people over and over again because you're looking for the same power source that you got that power from. But you keep blocking people and doing whatever it is, red flags and saying all this trauma stuff, not realizing that it's basically every time you connect with somebody, you're blowing a fuse because you're seeking that same power wattage that you got from before. And if it starts out because you're not establishing what it is that with this new person fresh, you're basically causing an overload. So you're trying to continue where the last person was, and then once you get it there, it's just too much power to handle, and it's like, no, we jumped from this point to this point too fast. You blow a fuse. So next thing you know, oh no, red flag, blocked, this and that, because you're prejudging it, all because you got a power source that you actually liked, and you didn't read the schematics, like the stuff that I do. Yeah, this stuff here, we gotta know what's the amper wattage from whether it's the audio, the video, LED wall. We gotta know what's coming from that and how much power ampage is being drawn. And if you don't, you're gonna blow a circuit. Like that happened yesterday. Because after I set up all the LED wall, I wasn't responsible for the other part. I just set up the LED wall, set the whole thing up, ran power, data, and all that stuff. And Head Buddy, who was going to map and do everything else, blew a circuit about 3-4 times. But this happens when you're in a relationship with somebody or trying to connect with somebody. Y'all out here steady blowing circuits. You don't even know who you're connecting to, but you're trying to connect because you're trying to fill the void of that previous person. I could really go even further, because a lot of these um, power companies, whether it's gas, electric, they're charging more, and that can go into a whole other ball of wax that you get. All right, now I done switch from this company to this company, and now I got this person, and it costs me more. Then you have to make a choice. Do I want to downscale and not use as much power, even though I need this much power? Or do I start burning candles and get kerosene heaters and space heaters? But even if I get space heaters, then I'm still paying. If I go out here and start burning wood in my own place to keep warm instead of using the furnace and all that stuff, because that's drawing too much power and I don't want to pay for that much. I'll burn wood. But when you don't know, and that's a lot of what happens in these relationships, you don't have the knowledge. When you don't know that, all right, if I switch to burning wood, I need to make sure that the smoke is not going in here, or I'm gonna kill myself, or I'm gonna cause harm by burning the wood in my house and not making sure everything is proper for the carbon monoxide not to flow in here. Same thing with the kerosene heater. Same thing with the space heater. I gotta make sure that nothing falls in front of it. If I'm burning candles, I gotta make sure nothing falls over on it, or so it don't catch on fire. Or I better make sure I don't fall asleep with that candle on, and it's not being watched, and something goes wrong. I mean, there's a there's a lot of things and nuances that happens in relationships that people don't even pay attention to. You got to pay attention to a lot of stuff, because a lot of stuff can transpire. It's going to transpire. But in this day and age, when one thing's transpired, y'all ready to quit. Y'all ain't got no kind of loyalty or no stand power. That you don't have the wherewithal to actually work through situations when you get in your feelings. I mean, I hear these stories, I see these stories quite a bit, and for some reason, people just like to tell me their business. And I'm like, well, what did you do? I mean, this mess isn't working because you all just don't have the wherewithal and the knowledge to work through things. Life comes down to yes and no. It's either one or the other, good or bad. It's always two sides to whatever. Even when you tell a story, there's two sides to it. But the fact of the matter is, you all just fail to realize this, or don't want to realize this, or operate within this manner, and you're ready to jump to a whole nother power source just to fill a void. Yeah.